High dose vitamin D has proven to improve muscle mass, all while increasing fat burning. Now, this all seems too good to be true. So let's go ahead and dive into this shocking new study, and I'll share with you how you can benefit from this information and implement it into your own life. But before we get started, I'm Dr. Nick Zyrowski. It is a pleasure hanging out with you in this video. The study that we're reviewing today is called High Dose Dietary Vitamin D Allocates Surplus Calories to Muscle and Growth instead of Fat via modulation of myostatin and leptin signaling. So ultimately, we're exploring how high dose vitamin D supplementation influences the body's allocation of excess calories, favoring muscle development and linear growth over fat storage. So this is an animal model analysis, and here are the key findings, okay? And I really tried to boil this down and make it really easy to understand for you, because a lot of these studies use big words and they can be kind of frustrating to understand. Now, vitamin D's role in energy allocation is one of the first key findings that we're going to look at. High dose vitamin D was found to shift the body's energy storage preferences from fat accumulation to muscle growth and increase linear growth. Now, we talk about vitamin D on my channel all the time and how incredibly important it is. It's important because every cell in the body has a vitamin D receptor in it. Vitamin D is so important that it is the only vitamin that your body will actually produce. And when you look at vitamin D in physiological terms, it's actually acting in your body as more of a hormone. Though we call it a vitamin, it's more of a hormone in the body. Now, let's look at the hormonal modulation that the high-dose vitamin D offers to the body. The first hormone we're going to look at is myostatin, and vitamin D decreases myostatin production. Here's why it matters. Vitamin D reduces levels of myostatin, a hormone that inhibits muscle growth, thereby promoting increased muscle mass. Now, we're also going to find that this high-dose vitamin D affects leptin. Increased leptin production and sensitivity was found. Vitamin D enhances leptin levels and sensitivity, a hormone produced by fat cells that regulates appetite and energy expenditure, leading to improved energy balance, okay? Leptin is a very interesting hormone because it is a key player in basically how you go throughout the day interacting with food. If you have a leptin issue in your body, let's say that you're leptin resistant, essentially what will happen is you will find yourself never getting full. You can eat and eat and eat and never be full. So this high dose vitamin D has been shown not only to increase leptin levels, but also increase the sensitivity so that your brain can hear it, and then you can get those signals of I'm full, stop eating. So that's very beneficial. Now, I actually want to combine some information recently found in another study with this conversation we're having today, because we're talking about taking supplementation at a high dose in order to actually get these benefits of increased muscle mass and increased fat burning. But we have to always look at, well, what is the usability of the vitamin D in our body? And I want to share some information from another study. So bringing another study into the picture, and this one shows us that exercise can actually help vitamin D become elevated in our body, in part due to its ability to mobilize vitamin D stores from fat tissue. Just 1 hour of indoor anaerobic exercise can boost circulating levels of active vitamin D by 35%, which is really incredible. 1 hour of exercise boosting your levels of vitamin D by 35%. But here's what's more interesting. Exercise didn't simply release stored vitamin D from the fat tissue, because fat tissue can actually sequester vitamin D, so you can't utilize it well. It didn't just simply release it. Instead, it improves the body's ability to take vitamin D and metabolize it, increasing the hormones availability in ways that supplementation often alone cannot, okay? So we can see that exercise actually benefits us by increasing the vitamin D circulating through our body, and then ultimately we could actually get more benefit from this study that we previously were talking about, whereas we can get that increased muscle mass and increased fat burning. So what are the implications of this study that we're looking at today? And then after that, we'll talk about how you get high doses of vitamin D and what that actually means. What is a high dose and how much should you take? So the implications of this study is that the study suggests that vitamin D plays a significant role in regulating energy balance and body composition by modulating key hormones, remember myostatin and leptin, involved in muscle and fat metabolism. These findings could have implications for addressing conditions like obesity, sarcopenia, which is age-related bone loss, and also metabolic disorders, okay? So what would be considered a high-dose vitamin D if you wanted to implement this in your life today? So when we look at high-dose vitamin D, here's what I use clinically, is that if you are looking to increase your vitamin D levels, let's say that you got a vitamin D test and you wanted to increase your levels, then what we would take is 10,000 IUs of vitamin D. If you're somebody who has recently got a vitamin D test and you're looking to maintain your levels of vitamin D, then we're looking at about 5,000 IUs of vitamin D. And what I'll do is I'll put a link in the description below to the vitamin D3, the active form, with K2 that we use clinically every day. It's a good quality form and it actually works on raising your vitamin D levels, whereas many of them don't work very well. So I'll put a link in the description below to the New Vision Health Center clinic store where we have these two options that I just mentioned to you available. Now, what's really important about this is that you're actually taking vitamin D on a regular basis. Many times in traditional Western medicine, if somebody is vitamin D deficient, they'll go to the doctor and the doctor will give them like a 50,000 IU pill that they take once a week. But the reality is that that's not a great way to take vitamin D. As I mentioned from the onset of this video, vitamin D is more of a hormone than it is a vitamin. And what we know about hormones is that you benefit from them if you're taking a dose regularly. So if I give you an example of, like, let's say testosterone, a man going through testosterone replacement therapy, he benefits far greater if he's getting a small dose of testosterone every day or every other day versus getting a large dose every other week or once a month, where we often see this type of thing used in modern medicine. And the same thing goes for women who maybe are undergoing some sort of progesterone therapy. You benefit much greater from taking small doses every day versus large doses every other week. So when we look at vitamin D, you benefit far more by taking a dose every day versus using the traditional Western medicine model of taking a giant dose once a week or every other week, okay? Where you'll see if we take the 5,000 or 10,000 IUs daily, we're gonna feel better versus taking 50,000 that once a week or bi-weekly. So those are the doses I use. The vitamin D, as I said, that I use is going to be linked in the description below. And ultimately what we're looking at here is that we want to get our vitamin D levels up because it not only has implications in our body composition, but it also has implications across every aspect of our life, whether it's your brain health, your immune system function, your cellular health, your heart health. Every aspect of your life is dramatically improved if you're taking the proper amount of vitamin D and you have the proper amount of vitamin D in your system. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope this study helps you. The real goal here and the real answer is making sure our vitamin D levels are optimized and you're taking the right amount every single day. I'm Dr. Zyrowski, and if you love this video, I think you'll really like this video over here on vitamin D next.